Alrighty, let's see here. Are we good to go? Looks like we are. We are live. Hello, everyone watching. You're probably catching this on the replay since, that's kind of how these lives tend to go. So what I want to do today is just talk about my next little bit of training. So as you all know, I'm moving back up to 4 days a week. I've just kind of decided the 3 days a week was fun. I had a great time with it. It helped me reset mentally, kind of get a bit more aligned. But I find myself wanting to push a little bit harder now. I finally feel like I'm in a place mentally, emotionally, just with the business, everything going on. I can put more energy into my own training. So I'm also going to be uploading more just of what I got going on in my own training as well, sharing that. Hopefully I am able to put together some cool stuff so you folks are actually interested in what I've got going on. And again, to everyone here so far, I just want to say thanks so much. It's been a really fun journey these past couple of years, focusing more on the online side of things, growing the business, getting to meet more of you fun folks, and really expanding my knowledge base of training and coaching and all that other. With that being said, let's get into it. So this is going to be the next 3 weeks. You know me, I like my 3-week waves. So let's start with the lower max effort day. For this upcoming wave, I've decided I'm going to focus on a snatch grip deficit deadlift, which is one of the coolest deadlift variations in my opinion. Really good for building torso strength in the deadlift, which is something I need right now. Having a stronger torso in terms of upper and mid back as well as just a low back, all that, that's going to help me keep from folding over in the squat. That helps with your loading, that helps with your carrying. All around incredibly valuable, and a big, strong, thick upper back is never a bad idea. So how it'll work is I'll have a top set for the day. In week 1, it's 8 reps, week 2, 5 reps, week 3, 3 reps, where the idea is I am trying to hit a new RM on that rep range, but it might not happen every week. And what you'll notice is, for example, in week 1, I've decided on 405, that's going to be my first set of 8, and that might be where I put a pin in it for the day. Maybe I keep going, and then again, we just hit that top set, thinking somewhere around an 8 or 9 on the intensity scale, leave 1 or 2 reps in the tank. That way I can build momentum across the weeks. After my top set, I'll drop the weight by 20% and just hit a back off set of max quality reps. So it's really only 2 deadlift sets in a workout, sort of, kind of. It depends on whether or not you count ramp up sets, and that seems to be something people love to debate very intensely, but regardless, this is, again, how I look at it, kind of a quasi-max effort. Then after that, I'm working heart shock, so that's, stand by the bag, run 60 feet away, run 60 feet back, carry the bag 60 feet, that's 1 rep. So I'm going to do 2 rounds of 3 reps with a 150 bag in week 1, 2 rounds of 2 with the 200 in week 2, and then 2 rounds of 3 in week 3 with the 200, yeah, okay. Then after that, ring pull-ups, just setting a timer for 10 minutes, and I'm spamming 4s in week 1. And then based off how many 4s I get, I might add some weight in week 2 where I spam triples. And then in week 3, I'm also spamming triples. Just getting some volume in here. I really do want to improve my calisthenics strength. Improving my performance in terms of calisthenics, that's a good proxy for improving strength to weight ratio, which in turn is a good proxy for kind of determining what your body composition is doing. I am going to be on a bigger deficit now, because I'm in a position to be able to focus in on that more, just feeling a little more locked in. Sun's coming out, and I don't want to be stuck wearing a shirt at the pool, right? Then after that, we're doing back extensions. That's not 8 by 80 feet. That's 8 by 8. Just consider that a little error from the copy-paste of the 80 feet. But the reason why I'm doing 8 by 8 on the back extensions, I've actually been doing that for the past couple training waves, and it has really been paying off in terms of improving my work capacity in my low back and my recovery. I'm actually finding I'm not getting the same low back fatigue I used to get when I do log press because of these back extensions, just because it lets me get so much volume very quickly. So I'm just going to keep running this particular protocol until I feel like I'm not getting anything out of it anymore. The idea with rotation is you try to stay ahead of accommodation, stay ahead of plateaus. But if I'm not plateauing, I can probably keep rolling with it to no ill effect, right? Then after that, some landmine twists and swings. Now with the swings, what I'm doing here, you'll see it's a 3-week wave, and this is every minute on the minute. So in week 1, 5 at the top of every minute. Week 2 will be 8 at the top of every minute. Week 3 will be 10 at the top of every minute. So just a good little bit of a density approach here, building good hinge mechanics, working my grip, my upper and mid back, and again, the conditioning a little bit here. Now as we move into the upper max effort day, week 1 I'm going to hit a heavy single and then drop it down to 80% of that for a couple sets of max quality reps. And then in weeks 2 and 3 what I'm doing is I'm starting at a certain percentage of week 1's maximum, and then from there I can move up or down based off how I'm feeling. So it's a quasi-max effort method in that it lets me ramp up And the idea here is at the end of week 3, I should be able to do what I hit in week 1 for a double at some point to build that progression. Now, the second press is going to be a 60-degree dumbbell incline press, and I'm using the 2RD8 approach. The 2RD is something that I just love doing. So what'll happen is I'll load up a pair of 65s, I'll take them out for a set of 8, then I'll take them out for another set of max quality reps, and if I can get 10 or more, I go heavier next week. And after that second set, I'll drop the weight 20% and just do another rep out set. Again, 2RD, love it for a lot of my accessory movements because it's very simple. I get a lot of work in, doesn't take a lot of time either. Then after that, we're doing Dick's press, 2RD10 there, 2RD10 on a one-arm dumbbell row. And then 350, what that is just 3 sets, 50 or more total reps across the 3 of them. So it could be 20, 15, 15. That means go heavier next time. And we're doing tricep press downs and the axle curl for those last 2 movements. You'll notice each day I keep it to around 6 exercises in session. I find that's enough for me that I can really focus in, and the workouts get done at a brisk pace. I personally don't like the idea of doing a 2-hour plus session at this point in the game. Just with my work schedule, in-person appointments, I find that if I can keep it 75, 90, if I'm really dragging on a given day, sure, but this is very feasible. Then, Wednesday, because these are Monday, Tuesday, I'll have a cardio day, so that's just going to be, 45 minutes of steady state. Then Thursday's lower developmental or dynamic effort day. So what I'm doing here is 3 weeks of 6 sets of 5 on squats, just gets a little heavier every week. And between every set of squats, I'll knock out 3 to 5 reps of chins. Hopefully here it'll go 3s this week, 4s this week, 5s this week. It might not. I'm just doing body weight for this first wave. Again, trying to build up my confidence and competence with calisthenics. And this is a good little superset here, squat and chins. They're not going to really interfere with each other. And then the idea here is I'll start a set or a round at the top of every 3 minutes. So this pairing will take 18 minutes, give or take. Then after that, 2 hard sets of Bulgarian split squats. Some sled drags, again, just backpedaling 8 rounds, 80 feet. Every week I will reduce my rest interval rather than go heavier. Then I'm going to do some Nordic hamstring curls and then some ab wheels. Let's just say 12 to 15 right there. So the developmental dynamic effort day, you'll see this one's moving pretty quickly, and I want to do that on purpose just because I don't want to lollygag. I want to get this workout done quickly. So I'm also picking accessory progressions that make sense for me to get the work done quickly. Now, as we move to the final lifting day of the week, it's the upper dynamic effort. It's just a log, clean, and push press, and I'm pausing my dips on all of these. I just find pausing the dip is such a great way to improve your leg drive mechanics, improve your rack position strength. All around, you're just going to see a lot of benefit as a lifter if you can learn to pause your dips in a developmental phase. And then as you move into a peaking phase, obviously you'd remove that. That way you can get a bit of that kind of bounce and stretch reflex on the dip drive of your push press. Also in week 3, I will allow myself the use of fatigue signals just to see how I'm feeling. After that, I'll do some strict log pressing, 4 sets of 4 to 6, 5 sets of 3 to 5, 6 sets of 2 to 4. I have my starting weights right there. I might stay at that weight for all set. I might ramp up. Just depends on how I'm feeling on that given week. Then after that is the axle, not just bench specifically, but the axle Larson press. And that's just 3 sets of max quality reps where I drop 10% every set. So set 1 will be 215, then it'll drop down to 195, then it'll drop down to 175. If set 1 is, let's say, 8 to 10 reps, I'll add a little weight next week. We're just doing 3 hard sets here, getting lots of reps. I like the Larson press a lot because it's going to help me keep my shoulders mobile, work my pecs and triceps quite a bit, and then because I'm not going to be arching like crazy, it does help reduce the fatigue my low back might experience because I'll have done log and strict log thereafter. After that will be easy bar skull crushers laying on the floor so I can kind of get a dead stop there. Rest pause method, and I do 5 clusters, rest pause, and the goal is to get 40 or more total reps across those 5 clusters. So I'll probably start off at like 65 or so because going through my old training log, that was about where I was last time I was doing this movement. So that's a good starting point, and I can always go heavier. 2RD10 method with the T-bar row, and with that, that's just plate weight, and with every T-bar, right, it's different, so this is just me giving myself some quick math. And then seated dumbbell cleans, 350 method. So if you're not familiar with the seated dumbbell clean, this is an amazing upper back exercise from Westside Barbell. It's also really good for shoulder health, which for me, I wanted to do dips in this training wave, but when I was trying to do them this past Friday, my shoulder's just saying no thank you. So I'm going to be spending a little extra time and energy on my off days, also during my warm-up phases, doing movements that help increase shoulder stability and get it feeling a little bit better. The Lock 3, that's a really good one, and I'll probably shoot a video on that one this week. But yeah, the seated dumbbell clean, so you just sit on the bench, you just clean it, right? Just boom. You little bit of hip, but it's mainly traps and external rotation. Really good for building powerful delts, thick upper back. Again, all these things to help build a good foundation and stability for the press, for the dip. That way I can start pushing my dips as well, because I do want to push calisthenic strength in this next little kind of timeline for my training. So anyways, that wraps up kind of the preview of the next 3 weeks of my own training. Hope that all makes sense. If you folks have any comments or questions, hit me in the comment section down below. The best ones are ones I will turn into topic videos, and I'll do my best to answer them in a timely fashion. If you're watching this the day it came up, happy Easter to you.